Merry Christmas, 007.
Season's greetings and Merry Christmas. You're listening to You'll Only Listen Twice, our Bond podcast where we're taking a look at all the Bond movies, both official and unofficial. I'm Jake. Merry fucking Christmas.
I'm Jan. Happy Hanukkah.
I'm Troy. There are no other holidays I can culturally celebrate besides Christmas, so Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas. And today we are taking a look at not OK Connery. We are done with that. We're done with that now. That was a delightful time.
Oh, thank God.
Now we're getting into what everyone calls the best. I feel like I've said that numerous times on this podcast because everybody has their own favorite Bond movie. But today we are talking about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And today, it's a Christmas miracle. We have our first guest.
Wait, who's coming down the chimney? It's...
Some guy.
Oh my God.
Oh, God!
Jeez.
Why did he use the door?
God. Why did you shit yourself? Oh God. Oh, it's our good friend and composer of our theme music. You may know him as Doggify, but here he's Michael.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be the first guest of this prestigious Bond podcast.
Well, it's an honor to have you, even though you shot yourself as you came in. Where's Paul, by the way?
I'm here. I'll be taking a back seat, or I don't know what I'll be front seat driving, whatever the one is where you talk less.
Wait, so do we all get the gun? So you drive in the neck brace and we all get the gun.
Spoilers.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, Paul, just be quiet.
All right, I'm producer Paul. In the proper British fashion, I will wish you a happy Christmas, although we are not entirely sure when this is coming out, but we're going to say it's Christmas. Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
It would be amazing if this came out in, like, February.
But we gotta sing our Bond Christmas carols.
Happy Love Day, everybody.
Yeah, Happy Love Day.
Was Dr. No.
All right.
The second movie was Russia from Love.
Thank you,
shut
Troy.
up,
Goldfinger,
Mikey.
Thunderball.
God damn it.
He's going to go through all of them. Troy, we don't have that much time.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Well, Mikey, you need to musicalize this.
Well, maybe in post. Can't do it live.
Yeah, well, we have an album coming out, folks. Don't worry.
The James Bond Christmas albums and sexy time music. The A side is for your Christmas family gatherings. The B side is for your sexy time. Hopefully not at your family gatherings.
It's all sung by George Lazenby in his Australian accent.
This never happened to the other fella.
Yeah, we could get him.
Speaking of George Lazenby, let's talk about the behind the scenes of On Her Majesty's Secret Service before we get into our review. So, this is post You Only Live Twice. Sean Connery is no longer James Bond. What is there to do?
Get his brother.
Yes, we covered that, and it was
Yes, we tried that one. Anything else?
So Broccoli and Saltzman are hot on the search for a replacement for Bond. At one point, they wanted to do the Man with the Golden Gun and cast Roger Moore, apparently.
Whoa! Can you imagine if that happened?
That would have been a crazy movie.
I bet that would be underappreciated and unfairly maligned.
There, in some alternate universe, we have the Man with a Golden Gun with Roger Moore, but one can only dream.
And they could get like a Hammer horror guy to play the Man with Golden Gun, like Peter Cushing.
Exactly, or David Prowse.
Ooh.
Imagine David Prowse with a third nipple. Anyways, what happened next, Jake?
I'm just picturing David Prowse.
Yeah, I'm
with a
just
third
imagining
nipple.
this now.
Give me a sec.
Hmm.
All right, I'm done.
You need to recollect yourself.
So they decide not to do that because of political uprising in Cambodia, or there's something going wrong in Cambodia. So they're like, all right.
Something? You mean the killing fields?
Yes. Anyway, political uprising in Cambodia. They can't do Man with the Golden Gun. And they've been promising on Her Majesty's Secret Service for the past 5 movies now. Like, it was supposed to be the next one after Goldfinger, after Thunderball. Now we're on You Only Live Twice, and they're like, okay, we're not changing it now. We're doing it. So they get Peter Hunt, who was the editor of all the previous Bond movies. His main thing for coming back, he's like, I want to direct the next Bond movie if Lewis Gilbert says no. Lewis Gilbert says no. Peter Hunt is in the director's chair. But now we need to find a James Bond. And they're trying to figure out, okay, so we just announced that Sean Connery is James Bond in the tagline to You Only Live Twice. How do we replace him? So they see a bunch of actors and they decide to go with some random Australian model with absolutely no acting experience by the name of George Lazenby.
It's a very inspiring story.
Before they got this George Lazenby character, they tried to get this young 25-year-old whippersnapper named Timothy Dalton.
That is true.
And he said no. Can you imagine if Roger Moore or Timothy Dalton ever played James Bond?
Another parallel universe that we can only hope for. Wasn't George Lazenby like a car mechanic?
Car salesman.
He was a used car salesman, and he went to England to follow a girl that he was dating. And then he ended up in male modeling. And from male modeling, I think his agent said, you should try out for James Bond. The spot's open. And so he couldn't get a meeting, but he just showed up at the offices for an audition. He got his hair cut at Connery's barber. He bought one of Sean Connery's suits that he just never picked up.
Wait. Backtrack. Sean Connery had a barber?
I guess so.
He had hair?
He cut like 3
What?
strands of hair.
Did he asked for the Connery and then he brought out the trimmer? And
He comes out bald.
This is the reason why he had to wear the toupee. Anyway.
As somebody who doesn't really know, can you clarify how bald Sean Connery was?
Yeah, we've mentioned this before. In You Only Live Twice, there are some parts where he doesn't have the toupee, and you're like, they are holding this man together with duct tape and like old glue. He is.
Here's a picture. You can't see it on the podcast.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
Yeah. He is just this old, dirty milkman that for some reason is like the world's foremost suave spy.
Yeah. So George Lazenby went to Connery's barber. I put that in quotes. Got one of his suits and waited in the offices at Eon Productions. And they're like, you can't see Albert Broccoli unless you have an appointment. And so he sat there. And then when the receptionist wasn't looking, he dodged the receptionist, broke into the offices and said, I hear you're looking for James Bond. And thus, we have our new James Bond. Actually, no, he had to go through a bunch of trials beforehand.
I did not know that part of the origin story was just like Sing 2.
Yes.
Sing 2 is the most hard-hitting documentary on what it takes to make it in Hollywood.
Yeah, especially when the producer makes the Scarlett Johansson pig sleep with him.
I believe that's the Reese Witherspoon pig. Scarlett Johansson is the porcupine.
I didn't see the movie.
So George Lazenby had to be put through a couple trials, including being in a fist fight where he accidentally knocked out the stuntman. Swimming. He was an excellent swimmer because...
He's a good Aussie boy.
Yeah. Paul would know. He grew up in Australia.
Everyone in Australia knows each other because they all live in a small town next to the killer desert that is most of the continent.
Wait a minute. Has Paul been dubbed to a normal accent like George Lazenby this whole time?
I don't know what you're talking about, chap.
If you talk to Paul's siblings, you'll hear Paul's real voice, and you're like, oh.
Does your brother have an Australian accent still?
No, but I did. It's true. I was an immovable object. I'd come in and be like, what's all this land? And, they'd be like, oi. Anyway.
So if you move to Mexico, will you speak like me? and I'll no longer be the freak of the podcast.
Jan, is that what your accent is? I've been wondering this for years.
All right. So one of the other trials was that producers sent a girl to George Lazenby's room to see what would happen because they were concerned that he might have been. This is according to George Lazenby that they sent because he was a male model. They were concerned that he wasn't man enough.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
But I think you do not like girls?
I am dead serious. And they sent a girl.
Is this in the documentary?
Yeah. They sent a girl to his room just to see what would happen. And he slept with her. And they're like, you got the role.
You old devil.
I thought this was for the exact opposite reason. Like, I thought they were like, well, let's make sure he's not too much of a creep. But
No,
no.
that's
Oh,
not.
no.
That's not a concern. No.
No, this is the
That's not a concern.
1960s, Mikey. This is a far different time.
how could
So
I forget?
Do we know when Eon discontinued the gay test? Were they like taking Daniel Craig out to like Flaming Saddles and were like, is he gonna dance? If anyone,
I like to think that they were like, let's see how not gay he is, and they send the actress that plays Irma Blunt, and like, come on, fucker, what's stopping you?
So he ends up confiding in Peter Hunt, going like, I'm not an actor. I'm just a male model. I didn't actually. Oh, yeah, because he lied to Cubby Broccoli saying he did all these movies, but he actually didn't. He's like, I'm not an actor. I don't know what I'm doing. And then Peter Hunt's just like, you just convinced the most ruthless guys I know that you're an actor. As far as I know, you're an actor. You're hired. You're my James Bond.
And then Peter Hunt told him, never talk to me, my cast, or my crew ever again.
Because George Lazenby became a drunk asshole. He got in league with some random new age guy who told him that he didn't need to be Bond and that he should pursue other roles. And he grew out his hair and grew out his beard and said, this is my only one. And thus the non-starter of a career of George Lazenby. There we go. He was in a Kentucky Fried Movie briefly.
He was. My favorite, we do need to circle back to how much of an idiot George Lazenby was on this movie. No offense, George, because I know you're listening,
Aw.
you egomaniac. But
We're the only people currently talking about George Lazenby in the entire world.
Except
what
for
was
George Lazenby.
He has a podcast about himself every week.
I saw on Twitter that he was like posting like, don't cold call me to ask me to be on your podcast. Call my reps. And I'm like, he has reps? Oh my God.
wait, we have Mikey on and we could have had George Lazenby?
Well, I was going to go back to this because I should have started out with this. But Mikey, tell our other hosts and people listening, what is your relationship with the Bond movies? Like, how did you get into or what do you know about them?
And what's your relationship to George Lazenby?
Okay. The only relationship with George Lazenby is that I hold just as problematic views as him. Just kidding.
Oh, no.
But with Bond movies, I have more of a casual outside observer relationship with the Bond movies, although Jake and I grew up very good friends in elementary school, and we did make like James Bond comics.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's fun.
I am very influenced by the movies that I saw, or the Bond movies I saw when I was younger. I didn't see all of them when I was younger, but like I would watch the like Spike marathons, I think.
Yeah. No.
Would you create your own James Bond storyline?
Oh, Mikey's got wacky. I remember he did one where Bond dies in the middle of it, and then he gets reincarnated as a British boy named Ben Mirenshire.
This
Well,
is all
that's
true.
just Casino Royale.
And then the way James Bond dies in my comic is he gets eaten by like a Venus flytrap and he gets shot out into a cave underneath the ground and he falls and dies.
This doesn't sound too dissimilar to the official Eon series, I gotta
No,
say.
I mean,
no.
I'm kind of surprised James Bond hasn't gone into a giant flytrap yet. Has there ever been like a James Bond Batman crossover where like he meets Poison Ivy and he's like, I don't know what to do, and then
They
she
should
sticks him
do,
into,
yeah, James Bond, Batman, Scooby Doo, like one of those animated things.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meet James Bond.
Exactly. James and Leonardo eating pizza.
Yeah, Leonardo introduces James Bond to pizza.
The sewer, the manhole cover opens up. What's new, pussycat?
What's new, pussycat?
Wah.
And then the Ninja Turtles jump out.
I need to know what Ian Fleming thought of pizza because he was a man of very specific tastes.
Was he in a place where pizza was popular?
What do you mean? Pizza's always been popular.
Yeah, but not in the Bahamas or England.
Well, no good food is popular in England.
Yeah.
Except for Indian food. They took that. They claim that now.
Yeah,
So,
they took it.
Why? Why, Mikey? Why did you decide to join us on this very special episode?
Yeah, because it's like to me it's the most interesting one, which is not really a hot take at this point. But I asked to be on either this one or Moonraker, because Moonraker, that one's just like, batshit insane. It's interesting. It's like I always thought, like, I memed on it when I was younger because I was like, oh, it's the one with the shitty Bond they canned after one movie. And I remember thinking it was like so weird that he got married. I thought that was like stupid. Like when I was, a teenager or preteen. And then like a few years ago, I got acquainted with the theme music again because there's this like British band called the Propeller Heads, and they have like a really sick remix of it. And for me, like the easiest way for me to like get or kind of think positively about a movie, like a cheat code with movies for me is if I like the music, I like automatically will kind of like the movie. And so I was like, oh, this is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. This has got like a really sick theme. Maybe I might like the movie. And when I visited it again, I was surprised at how much I liked it. And that was like a few years ago. So watching it for this or prepping for this was a definite refresh. But that's kind of the reasoning for me. It's one that I kind of turned around on as I grew up.
That's interesting that you mentioned the music as a big reason for being here, because this theme has been with me since I was like 7 years old, because
oh yeah,
it is the theme used in the teaser trailer for The Incredibles.
Showtime.
And I remember being disappointed when I saw the movie and it wasn't the theme.
Mikey and I were talking about that the other day, actually, off mic, where because Mikey, you were going like, wait, why is it weird that it sounds that the Incredibles music sounds like On Her Majesty's Secret Service? And I'm like, well, remember the teaser?
When he's fat and he can't get into his pants, something like that.
Yes, that is how they sold a movie to a nation.
Maybe just a salad and some rice cakes.
Apparently they did ask John Barry to score The Incredibles, but John Barry was like, you're just using On Her Majesty's Secret Service in the trailer. I'm not repeating myself.
So that's how we get Michael Giacchino.
Director of Werewolf by Night?
Yes, acclaimed director Michael Giacchino. Acclaimed horror director.
I didn't know he writes music.
Wait a second, is this? I thought this was 2020.
No. We're just talking about upcoming rumored Marvel projects.
Happy Christmas 2020. Go get your
It's
shots,
Christmas
everybody.
2020. Biden's president, everyone. We can stop pretending.
Yay!
Nothing will happen in a couple weeks that will make us worry. And then everyone will just go home, and then we'll arrest them all over the next couple of years.
Look, whatever happens in the next few weeks in Washington, D.C., Troy, I'm sure by 2023, it will pretty much be like it didn't happen. No one will even care.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to run for president in 2024. I hope it's not the exact same people.
That would be pretty silly.
Well, On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay, yeah, we should get into On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So, Mikey, also, I was going to say, it's funny that you're like, I don't know about Bond getting married. That's too big of a change. I'm like, thank God they have never done anything to totally twist up the Bond formula like killing him. That would have been insane.
I think if you did the Venus flytrap thing, it would work.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys can do it in your fanfic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, in our fanfic it's fine, but like they've never taken that idea and actually done it.
And they never tried to make it work by like taking the music from On Her Majesty's Secret Service and slapping it onto an era in the franchise's history where Louis Armstrong's slow jazz doesn't really work.
Hey, that's a beautiful theme.
Yeah, I love it. It doesn't fit with a certain era of James Bond's history. It's great.
No, I'm sure that if they put it in the new movie, it would be seamless.
Oh, I'm sure.
Fucking less.
We have all the time in the world just for luck. Wait, did Louis Armstrong die like the day he recorded that song?
He died shortly after.
Yeah, he had been dying for a long time, I think.
Yeah, he had been, but all the time in the world.
Jake and I were watching a movie about the soundtracks of James Bond. And
oh yeah, Melissa recommended
I don't know if
that.
I heard this correctly, but it seemed like I heard whoever the music producer was wanted a quote ironic voice.
Oh, it was John Barry who said that.
He was like, I want someone with not a lot of time left. And he opted for Louis Armstrong, who I guess
That's amazing.
everyone knew was at death's door.
Yeah, no. Well, if you saw him live, there's apparently like a live recording, and he looks like he's approaching death because usually he's like a big guy and he's like rail thin.
Okay, he did die in 1971, so he's not dead. Like, he has time.
Not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time, but like...
Not all the time in the world, but let's get to the movie. So...
There's a movie?
There is a movie. It's called On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh boy, is this ever a movie. Because after the fucking dumpster fire of a year that was 1967... this feels like we are being reborn.
Literally.
In many ways. Different Bond, different director. Apart from the different Bond, I feel like Peter Hunt's direction just makes this feel very different from the other Bond movies.
Peter Hunt said this movie, he was going to direct it as his movie. He was going to put his own spin on it. And apparently he was working on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang when he was hired. So he just brought everyone from that movie on and he's like, let's just make a gonzo cut every 2-minute movie. And it's like, okay.
I mean, yeah, you got this trademark dog shit editing, but you also
How dare you? How dare you?
You also have surprisingly uncharacteristically gorgeous cinematography.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck that came from. Because this one just looks incredible compared
That's
to
the
the
thing.
other
Yeah,
ones.
this does not have a super famous DP like Freddie Young on You Only Live Twice, but it says a similar level of panache.
It's even better because you have like the shots of the helicopters.
Well, I guess we'll get to this, but the helicopter shots of the daytime ski sequence is like miraculous. Like there's nothing else like it I've seen in any other movie, you know?
No, it's incredible. The stunts are incredible. They shot it with the sun at the perfect position. It has these beautiful lens flares at points. And even like the interiors, which usually interiors in these psychedelic, late 60s movies look pretty, kind of bad, right? Like cheap. But here they look really gorgeous. Like the scene where he's like in the stable with Tracy and it has this filter where it looks like they just rub Vaseline on the lens and she looks like a fucking goddess, like radiating light. I don't know. It's just, this movie's really beautiful. For some reason.
That was a very common trick in 1930 cinema. Whenever your leading lady was on screen, you put the Vaseline.
Yes, Troy, but all those people are dead and no one cares about that. I am talking about important things. I'm talking about movies that people watch.
Well, what you often see, especially in these 60s movies, is, what they're working with is still pretty bulky. I was looking at the behind the scenes photos and looking at that Panavision camera that's like the size of a car and just trying to imagine how they even got it to the top of that mountain. Often the lighting is very flat, and it certainly is in most of the previous ones, especially Goldfinger.
I do got to bring up, though, if we're going to talk, we can gush about the cinematography, which I generally agree with. but like the tinting gets out of control on this one.
Oh yeah, this is
Maybe it's a tad overused, but you gotta understand, Mikey. We're fresh out of Casino Royale and OK Connery. This looks like fucking the Tree of Life to us.
This was the psychedelic Bond movie, right? This was the attempt to really bring him into like the Summer of Love '69.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a shot in this series quite like with the recurring image they use of like the sun with the. I mean, it's just like a kaleidoscope, basically. They use it a lot.
It looks pretty great. And okay, we've gushed about how it looks, about how it feels. Now I feel like we really need to start by talking about the fact that despite one line from the opening scene, I feel like we all agree this is not, James Bond is not a code name. It's the same guy recast.
I'm glad we're talking about this.
Yeah, no, because Paul erroneously thought in a couple episodes ago that James Bond was a code name.
And you said that you would murder me in cold blood for bringing this up.
No, I didn't say I would murder you. I said Bond fans would murder you because.
Okay.
But you are a Bond fan.
I have no attachment to this.
I didn't say that. It was Patricia.
The community will kill me. Jake will just pull the trigger.
I'll just lead them to your house.
Oh no. Okay, so with that in mind, I would love to know what the rationale is for when he says the line, which is.
I found it out online. So at the beginning of the movie, for those who have seen the movie, Tracy, played by Diana Rigg, walks into the ocean to kill herself. James Bond sees her and rescues her in a very weird carrying her out of the water thing, and then he beats up a bunch of guys. And then she runs away and she leaves both her shoes. And James Bond goes, "This never happened to the other fella."
This never happened to the other fella.
So I'm reading TV tropes and they are convinced he is referencing Prince Charming from Cinderella in that he got both her shoes instead of one shoe.
Well, that's what you could say in universe, but
my God.
The reason why he said this is in the Becoming Bond doc.
It's just a wink, wink.
Where he would just say that all the time, like, "Oh, George, can you do that?" He's like, "The other fella didn't have to do this," and it became like a meme on set. And so they're like, "We need to have a line where he goes like, 'This never happened to the other fella,' somehow."
Yeah, I'll
So
put
it's
it best.
like Wesley Snipes in Blade, the ice skating line.
No. Have you ever seen George of the Jungle 2?
Wait, Mikey, have you ever seen George of the Jungle 2?
If I saw any George of the Jungle, it was the first one, and I was like 3.
There's a scene at the beginning of George of the Jungle 2 where George of the Jungle, who's played not by Brendan Fraser but by some other bozo, turns to the camera and the narrator's like,
Wait a minute. Who the heck are you?
Me new George. Studio too cheap to pay Brendan Fraser.
This is the exact same thing. George of the Jungle is not a different character in the second movie. It's just a little nod.
Yeah, it's still the same Bond,
Yeah.
and they do go out of their way like several times to make sure that you're acclimated to it. Even the beginning, George Lazenby is in shadow as he's driving a DBS, not a DB5, and he has the cigarette, and he has the hat, he has the gun from Russia with Love. And he's looking through the peephole and he's spying on Tracy.
Detail shots, right? Well, they have little shout outs to the fact that he is not the James Bond you're familiar with, but also that he definitely is the James Bond that you're familiar with. So.
At one point, he's given a leave of absence because he can't find Blofeld, and he goes back to his desk, and Bernard Lee and Lois Maxwell are there, all well and rested from OK Connery. And he's taking out like Honey Rider's knife and like, under the mango tree. Oh, from Russia with Love thing.
He takes out his rebreather and he's like, I remember when Obi-Wan used this.
I traveled to Gunga City with this.
Yeah.
There's always a bigger fish.
So question, I don't remember these things. Is this the first time we've seen his office?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've never seen his office. We've seen his flat. We've never seen his office.
Okay. Question answered.
So he rescues Tracy from killing herself in the ocean. He's attacked by two goons that you find out, are working for Tracy's father. He meets up with her again at the casino, and you get that cool shot where he goes to the room and he goes out to the balcony. There's the bed on the balcony, and it looks over at the pool, and then it goes to night, and there's the casino flashing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
in
yeah.
the pool, the
That,
reflection.
oh yeah, that's awesome. That's a great transition.
Minor point, but if the effect looks great, but obviously they filmed a miniature sign in a reflection and blew it up. So the little ripples, if you think about it logically, it looks like there's like a hurricane going because there's so many waves in the pool.
But it looks
and also
cool.
This whole casino scene is when you're like, oh my god, this is Austin Power. Like, this is the most late 60s movie ever made, basically.
All the colors.
Like, what the fuck is James Bond wearing?
Oh yeah, do we need? Okay, well, I think we've teased this in a previous episode, but maybe we can start this ball rolling now. That George Lazenby is James Bond, and he's in it killed and he's dubbed. And I think previously we made a joke
that's not in this scene though.
No, but previously in an episode we made a joke that he is the Bond woman in this movie.
Yes,
and
that is
would like to start the thread going that he wears so many shirts that are frilly and completely like sheer see-through on the back. I feel like he is very objectified. And
well, yeah, they only got him for his looks, right?
They're the puffy shirt from Seinfeld.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it is.
This never happened to the other fella.
I read that apparently Roger Moore wore a Ruffly shirt in a promo still for Live and Let Die, but otherwise he is the only Ruffly Bond. Lazenby is the only Ruffly
I feel like this is another thing we need to get out of the way. Mikey, what do we think of George Lazenby as James Bond?
Oh, okay. I have notes on this. I mean, these are obvious notes, right? But I think George Lazenby is like a great physical Bond. I mean, he's got the stature.
Yes.
He's the most athletic, I think, of any of the Bonds. I mean, maybe Daniel Craig has something to say there, but like he's intimidating.
I think Daniel Craig a little bit.
Yeah, Daniel Craig's
he's
a fucking
intimidating.
tank.
He's tall. I think the only thing for me that he's like missing is kind of like a suaveness.
So the one thing that James Bond needs.
Yeah.
I would say that's my thing with Lazenby as well. I'm very torn on Lazenby because on one hand, I do consider Lazenby the weakest of the official Bonds. He's not an actor.
I think
he doesn't really bring
agrees,
a lot of emotional gravitas to the scenes. A lot of his scenes work because he's standing next to Diana Rigg, who is a great actor, and Telly Savalas and all those great actors. And he's just kind of there. And yeah, he's not suave. He's not cocky. He doesn't really sell any jokes. Besides, this never happened to the other fella.
This never happened to the other fella.
He's not really like fun in that sense. However, I stand by this. I think he's a better fit for this story than Sean Connery because I don't buy that Sean Connery's Bond ever loved anyone.
It would have been interesting to see him try to do that.
Like I don't know
scene.
if Connery's Bond could have pulled that off.
That was my first note in my post-watch thoughts was that I don't think Connery could have pulled this off.
And
Really?
George Lazenby pulls it off so, but it does work. And I think that runs throughout the whole movie for me even, because it's like, yes, Lazenby is probably my least favorite official Bond. He's very wooden. He doesn't have that riz, that charm.
Yeah, no riz.
But maybe it's just because I'm coming off fresh of Neil Connery. But there's something about him that I just found really endearing watching this. He's kind of like a human golden retriever. Like, he's always smiling. He's like a big, dumb brute. He's in love. I don't know. I think this movie in particular is just nice for him and his style of non-acting where he's just kind of like smiling in.
Yeah, no, well, everything else is doing the heavy lifting with this movie.
Yeah, he has the support there. You can see why, maybe Saltzman and Broccoli and Hunt thought like, well, we can just get him an acting coach, and then basically everything else is there, right? Because like his physical presence, like you could kind of see it. Like you can see him succeeding in a screen test. It's funny, like, because Jake did convince me to watch the somewhat documentary with reenactments of becoming Bond, and his voice is higher in that than it is in the movie. I know that he's dubbed in a lot of the movie, but this is actually his voice, and it's very deep. He looks rugged, almost more rugged than Connery, actually. He has more lines on his face than Connery.
What?
Paul, I can't agree with you
Paul,
there.
Sean Connery is like gravel, and George Lazenby is like a fine chocolate bar made by Fry.
I don't know. Maybe it's the lighting.
George Lazenby is on his way, like a couple years later.
A couple years later, when he turned down playing Jesus in Monty Python's Life of Brian.
Yes.
Stupid man.
Maybe later he could go up against Connery with his ruggedness.
And my whole thing with Connery is I think Connery can do tragic romance. If you see him in Robin and Marion, even something like First Night, like Connery can do it. I just think the minute Sean Connery put on a tuxedo by like the mid-60s, he's like, I hate this. I'm not going to try.
If it was Peter Hunt directing it, if it was like the same creative team, but this was like after Goldfinger, then this would have been like top tier. You would have had like Sean Connery like trying. The only problem I would have is like, is 3 movies enough to get to the point where you know James Bond enough where it's just like, oh, he's fallen in love.
Let's ask Daniel Craig that question.
Well, that's true. But we had 40 years of Bond movies at that point, so we had an idea of who Bond was, and they're restarting it, but still they also want you to remember the other
very
Bonds.
Much trading on that. And I think that like it with Connery, I think Connery's a good enough actor. Like it was possible to make this movie work, but I think it would have been as much or more jarring for an audience to see, you know, a Connery version of this movie.
That's a really good point. It really eases you into the fact that James Bond falls in love. Because it's like the James Bond from the book falls in love like every fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, like in the book, their love story
just squirts and leaves. You know, it's the James Bond that we've all come to know and love.
So he meets up with Tracy at the baccarat table. He bails her out because she lost money.
And Tracy is played by Diana Rigg of the Avengers.
And she's awesome.
We love Diana Rigg.
She's the best Bond girl so far, by far.
She's yes, by a country mile.
I do find it interesting that in my book, I mean, putting aside Claudine Auger, my crush on her, the 2 best actors to play Bond girls are Honor Blackman and Diana Rigg, who were both the main women of the Avengers, the British TV show, not the Marvel franchise.
The thing about Tracy in this is that James Bond and Tracy really don't spend any time together for a big chunk of this movie.
That's my main criticism of it.
It's my main criticism also, but I think Diana Rigg kind of saves it because she does such a good job at making us, the audience, fall in love with her. Because we're like, she's smart, she's witty, she does a better job than James Bond at points. She gets shit done. She's sexy as hell.
She tries to outact Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas. So it's very easy for us at that point to believe that James Bond would be like, yeah, I'm in love with her because we've also kind of fallen in love with her. Though I also fell in love with Telly Savalas. And
well, who doesn't?
My main disagreement with that point is that I kind of, the big chunk of the movie where she's not there, you feel like she's not there, and that's intentional, at least for me, because he's doing like the regular Bond thing.
That's the worst part of the movie.
Yeah. Well, no, but here's the thing, is that like every time when he's with the chicken lady and he's with the other lady, it like they're so dumb and unappealing compared to Diana Rigg, and then James Bond escapes and he goes down the mountain. And then he's hiding in the crowd at the town. And it's like the lowest point. And you have like that nice Christmas music playing in the background. And then all of a sudden you see the skates roll up. And then Bond looks up, pans up to Diana Rigg with like the choir. And now it sounds like an angelic choir. And you're just like, finally. And the movie is telling you this. And I felt this of like, okay, I am in love with this woman.
I agree. That moment is amazing. especially because the first time I saw this, I swear to God, when those roller skates showed up, I thought it was going to be Blofeld. So
with his feminine legs.
With his feminine legs,
Like,
so when it pans up in his hair, I was like, yay!
Merry Christmas, 007.
No, and I think before we move on from the scene, again, I've talked about this before, that part of why Goldfinger is so satisfying is that it sets up the Bond-Goldfinger relationship at the beginning of the movie and you can follow it. This movie does the same thing with Bond and Tracy. It's a different kind of relationship, but again, it gives it a through line. It gives it like I can follow this, and this is nice.
Yeah. Though it would have been nice that there would have been more to their falling in love than just a montage, despite how nice the song is.
Because her dad sold her to him?
Yeah. So that's the other thing with this movie. It's yeah. Are we right about Diana Rigg, Mikey? Is she cool, or do we just have a boner for an 85-year-old dead lady?
No, I was gonna say. I mean, I watched this movie with my wife, and I was like, "Can I get a hall pass on a dead person?"
Hell yeah!
My analysis is, it's. Let's just say I didn't go to USC film school, like y'all. I don't have, like, anything you guys bring up. I'm kind of just going like, yeah.
My man, I studied literature. I was a fucking bum. I have no idea.
Yeah, but
Jan,
Jan, you're also like the only working director at the moment.
The perfect crime.
I study genealogy now, which is apparently the sexiest thing in the world, according to this movie. But
you study genies?
No, I study dead people I'm related to.
Just like he's written a dissertation on Will Smith.
Oh, let's get Genie with it.
That's such a good joke. But yeah, I was gonna say that what's always bothered me about this movie is that so James Bond finds Tracy kind of randomly because he just sees that she's gonna kill herself, and then her dad happens to know where Blofeld is, and then the two plots seem kind of unrelated, like just happenstance. That you know, and I think you could have very easily fixed it by just making it that Bond was following Tracy because he knew that the dad knew Blofeld and he's trying to get to Blofeld. Like, it's such an easy fix, and it makes the plot more confusing than it needs to be.
Apparently, Peter Hunt brought the book with him to set, and he's like, "This is going to be the most accurate adaptation of an Ian Fleming novel ever," and he was earmarking it, and they adapted everything. So I guess they weren't really thinking clearly in that respect.
That's the thing that Fleming would do, is just have things happen like, oh, by the way, I know where this is. I mean, honestly, it's less egregious than having in Goldfinger, Bond wants to, he gets out of the death trap by saying, "I'll be your secretary." I don't mind that it's coincidental that it's he saves Tracy, then he gets taken to Drago.
This movie would be it would go from really good to amazing to me if just those two plots were a little bit more interlinked.
Yes.
Because yes, you do miss Tracy when you're stuck in the Alps, but at the same time, you miss Tracy when you're stuck in the Alps.
Yeah, and I'm
you know what I mean?
I don't need James Bond in a kilt having sex around the world while they talk about chicken.
Delicious. I used to hate chicken.
I do need that just for the scene where a lady grabs his leg and he just goes
No, she writes her room number on his leg and he has a slight stiffness.
Just a slight stiffness coming on.
The lipstick somehow cuts through his forest of leg hair. Yeah.
He shaved just right there because he
just
knew it was
loudly announcing that he has a boner like an 8-year-old.
And as Lazenby claims, he put a enormous sausage in his kilt so that she'd find it, and it fooled her apparently.
Man, pranks in the 60s were just sexual assault, just straight up crimes.
I mean, nobody apparently liked George Lazenby on the set of this movie. Peter Hunt walked out of his own birthday party instead of spending time with George Lazenby, apparently.
And this is the guy who hired him.
Yes, Diana Rigg claimed oh, I didn't hate him, but apparently a year after this movie came out, she just wrote him a letter with a list of grievances. and why he's immature and not ready for stardom.
Yeah.
He got in a fight with stunt coordinator. He got in a fight with the producers because he didn't get an invite to a party Albert Broccoli threw, and Albert Broccoli was like, no one got an invite. This is just an informal thing.
It was on the call
Yeah, it
sheet
was on the
or
call sheet.
something.
When Sean Connery is the gentleman, you know that maybe you should check yourself.
My favorite story
Yes.
is apparently George Lazenby went to John Barry's studio and he listened to the opening score and he's like, that's pretty good. You should use that. And John Barry was like, oh, wow, he's got a brain on this one, huh?
Which is British for fuck this guy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, man.
Some wry
Look
British
at the big
wits.
brain on George.
Look at the big brain on George. Yeah, so
You George just lucky, I guess.
Tracy's father is like, my daughter said, James Bond, you are a very famous man with penis.
What he says is she needs a man to dominate her, a man like you.
What she needs is a man to dominate her, to make love to her enough to make her love him, a man like you.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the meeting with the dad, I forget what the context is, but he's talking about an Italian who killed himself in a Maserati with a mistress. And I was just thinking, like, least Italian death.
Just a joke. Oh, when he bursts into the room after that fight scene, he throws the knife at the dad. And it lands on a date. And I thought this was weird.
Oh, yeah, this is a very weird joke.
It lands on my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
September 14th.
I did that for you, Jake. Happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, you influenced
Yes,
the movie.
it's your Hana,
You
it's
went
your
back in
first
time?
Hanukkah present.
Oh my god.
Peter Hunt was on Cameo, and you could buy that.
I was gonna get you either that or a Nostalgia Critic cameo, and I got you both.
Let me
Oh,
say, this action scene, like Peter Hunt, he directs like an editor, because you know there was no coverage on this movie. He's like, we're gonna use this angle.
yeah.
We're gonna use this angle. It's gonna cut right into James Bond flipping through the door.
And
throw
some
it
of
in there.
the times the editing is genuinely awful. I gotta say.
Yes.
In my odd take is the action is based as hell. It's awesome. The other stuff is remarkably not tight, I would say. Like, it's not in a rush. This is the longest Bond movie we've seen so far.
And it will be until I'm like 12.
It's the longest movie, and it has an entire like subplot with like Bond's little helper who dies, and it's like, are these deleted scenes? Who is this man?
Oh
Why
yeah,
is he
that's right,
there?
Ski Guy.
Like,
one of Draco's men.
yeah, exactly. You don't even remember him.
British Italian mobster
Do you remember
guy.
this guy, Mikey?
I do remember that. I do remember him, and I remember thinking the whole time, like, how was he introduced?
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
like, what?
he was there
Yeah.
at the Swedish factory, or not factory, the construction site.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because he puts Bond's safe cracking gear, which is now so big that he can't fit in his pocket. Because in the last movie, he had a safe cracker that he pulled out of his pocket and he put back
somehow
in.
technology has gone backwards.
They're going for a more nuanced science fact approach.
It's like iPhones. They just keep getting bigger until.
Maybe it's because it has a like a copier.
Yeah, so
it
it is a
too.
copier, right? I have a couple of, I wasn't sure what I was looking at.
Or maybe
Yeah.
Q just did it to fuck with him because he hates him.
It seemed like one of the most specific inventions ever. Like,
Yeah.
it breaks a safe and it makes a fax of papers in that safe.
Yeah, it's horribly ineffective. Oh yeah, but that's right. There is no Q scene in this movie.
No, he doesn't pop up until the
No
very
briefing
end.
scene.
And the beginning. No, he has the very first line in the movie because he's talking about radioactive lint.
Radioactive lint.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I mean, like, there's no scene where he's like giving him back gadgets.
Oh yeah, no.
You could tell that much like OK Connery, they wanted to gird the new guy by having Bernard Lee and Lois Maxwell.
And oh my god,
show up as many times.
Bernard Lee is actually acting in this.
Oh yeah,
one,
he
and
is like
he's really good in it.
cold-blooded in this movie.
I
Yeah.
love how he butts heads with Bond, and I love that scene where Bond is like pissed at him because they kidnapped Tracy, and he doesn't joke or give any singers. You're like, damn, this ain't your mama's James Bond. This is like almost a real
He's
movie.
like, and the set is lit in shadow. Like, it's so dark when he's like messing with Bond, and I'm like,
no,
oh.
they actually tried with this one.
Yeah, I will say, I've always felt that Lois Maxwell had great chemistry with Sean Connery, but never really quite recaptured it with Lazenby or Moore.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It would have made the ending so much better that moment, but well, we'll talk about that in the end. I don't even want to spoil it.
Also, while we're talking about the M and Moneypenny scenes, I would like to point out that we now have another shot where Bond throws the hat on the coat rack and it's in the same shot. No more cutting it up because Sean Connery refuses to.
I think this might be the last time
Yeah,
we
I think
see
this
it.
might be the last time they do that.
I think,
because then Connery comes back and he's like, I'm not going to do it, you fucker.
Oh my god. Well, if we're talking about hats, we got to talk about the gun barrel. I'm just going to make a quick segue into the gun barrel sequence.
It's awful.
It's fucking so weird because you have it pop up and like the Saltzman and Broccoli credits show up at the beginning. You're like, oh, it's like Dr. No.
Then he's walking in place.
Yeah, he's walking in place. He's doing a moonwalk. And then he turns around and gets on one knee and fires. And then he's a still. And then the blood comes down and makes him disappear.
Yeah, I was also like, what the fuck was...
like, why is it...
Yeah.
Why is it
on a related note, we did skip over this, but I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think this is the weakest title sequence so far.
Bro.
I know.
No.
Dude.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
Paul, I thought you said you weren't going to talk this episode, huh?
Paul, I'm not saying I personally am gonna murder you. I'm saying Bond fans, including myself, are gonna murder you.
It will be an organized community
It's
police.
so awkward. Like, it's clip shows from the previous movies.
Yes, to establish that this is the same character.
They're fit into these weird shapes that don't fit, so you see half of his face.
Aren't they hourglasses?
It's
They're like
hourglasses.
hourglasses. It's like time. He has all the time in the world.
Isn't one of your favorite movies Spider-Man 2? It's like,
Well, those are beautiful illustrations. I mean, and that's the same actor. But yeah, the weird like layering and the way they use freeze frames and then they play it and then the shots freeze and then the silhouettes freeze and unfreeze. It's all so
deeply funny to me.
much less elegant than what we've had in.
Is this the first
ones.
time
So cool.
James Bond is in the opening title, like the title graphics, that we have a shadowy figure who's supposed to be Bond? Because normally
yes.
it's just women before this.
Usually
and we're
it's
committing to the
women
shadow
or
women.
circles.
Paul,
Yeah.
this title sequence is awesome. I feel like you're just gonna yearn for Casino Royale. With
I know. Mikey, what do you think of the opening title?
It's not the best one, but like I think the music is in my S tier of Bond themes, which isn't really a hot take by any means. But I think I feel like it's kind of a simple opening sequence. It does have like some, artifacts of, being made in the 60s, as Paul was talking about, like, technical things, but I think it adds to the charm. And I this might be like, oh, you're supposed to notice it the first time you've seen it in theaters. This was the first time I realized, like, oh, the kneeling women make a crown.
Oh,
I didn't notice that. I never noticed that, actually.
That, yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kneeling women make a crown.
They even replicate that in a movie that hasn't come out yet, No Time to Die.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I've got the shingles.
Wait, we haven't even talked about genealogy and Hillary Bray yet.
We made it to M's office with the sexual harassment.
Wait, I thought you meant M was sexually harassing Bond.
Well, I was going to say this back at Bernard Lee. I do like how, he's like all cold with Bond going like, I'm taking you off Operation Bedlam.
I'm relieving you from Operation Bedlam, 007.
So under the
That's all. Get out. And then Bond tenders his resignation. He has his flashbacks with all the stuff in his desk. And he goes like, sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Ma'am.
To who? Who does he say it to?
To Queen Elizabeth II, who was
very much still alive.
Yes.
In 2020,
in
Christmas.
2020.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas, Mom.
Troy, let's just say you'll get another very special Christmas present in your stuff.
Oh, God, no.
And so
I suddenly
Bond
become 20 times more Irish.
So Bond comes back, and Moneypenny has not written a letter of resignation, but a letter of leave of absence. And then M calls her and goes like, what would I do without you, Moneypenny? After Bond says that to her.
Moneypenny, what would I do without you? What would I do without you, Miss Moneypenny? Thank you.
And it's a very sweet, nice moment. George Lazenby is very, very nice to Moneypenny. That's the big difference between Sean Connery.
He's also like half her age.
He is.
They do a parting kiss on the lips. Did Connery ever kiss her on the lips?
No.
Oh,
never.
Connery does not kiss on the lips, Paul.
He squirts and leaves. We already talked about this. Is this the first James Bond movie that is also Mission Impossible, because James Bond is like disavowed?
Yeah, he goes rogue because in the end he directly disobeys M.
Yeah, like is the title supposed to be ironic? Like he's not on Her Majesty's Secret Service?
I think so. Well, it's about him choosing whether to continue being a spy or settle down.
Also, apparently, on Her Majesty's service was what they would write on letters, especially in World War II, on His Majesty's service, actually. That would indicate you've either been drafted or someone you love has been killed.
It was always Secret Service?
No, that's a pun Ian Fleming came up with. He was friends with Roald Dahl. They made puns.
And I wanted to circle back at the montage of We Have All the Time in the World. That's after Drago like sets up Bond and Tracy, and Tracy's just like, you're setting him up for Buddy. Nah, that's not worth it. Just give him his payment. Give him where Blofeld is. So Drago gives the location of Blofeld. But Bond actually wants to pursue a relationship with Tracy, and then we get the montage and everything is done. I don't know about you, but I was watching it, and because everything is shot so wide and you're not into it as much, it feels like full fly on the wall.
It's all shot with a really long telephoto lens.
Yeah.
Which makes it feel like someone is spying on them.
No, but it makes it seem a lot more genuine.
It's M.
It's M. He's jealous of Tracy.
He's just like, I can't have you leave, Bond.
Wait, and then you look over and it's like Tiger Tanaka is like spying on him, like, no.
that would be amazing if that whole montage happened and then we reveal like a pair of binoculars. It's a reveal that it's been M the whole time.
But it does work because you don't actually have to have George Lazenby act like you're in love. It's like you're far away enough so that you're just like, okay, just do shit.
No, and also because the telephoto lens compresses the image a lot, so it makes it all very bokeh-ish and like dreamy. So it feels like it's in the best time of his life.
And you got Louis Armstrong's lovely vocals.
And he's like one with the environment. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mikey, we're talking about film shit again.
Well, I'll bring some gaming into this. When I'm watching this scene, I look at Diana Rigg. I'm like, she's looking like a Red Dead Online character. That like hat and I was taken out for a second.
With her outfit
her skin does look like PS3 texture. It's very smooth.
She's like Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. She's actually a PlayStation character.
What is it about these Brits? I don't know. They're low poly.
This is all a simulation.
Why do we get random bullfighting footage when they're in the dad's birthday party or whatever?
Well, they are supposed to be Spanish, aren't they? Right?
No, they're Italian.
They're in Portugal. They're in Portugal.
They're in Portugal, but they're Italian.
Wait, I thought they were in Corsica.
No, the whole... I read online that everything with the beginning of the movie and the ending of the movie is in Portugal.
Oh, okay.
So then for the next hour, Tracy just disappeared. Like, we just forget about her.
Why does James Bond leave her again?
Oh, they have like this whole thing while Bond is breaking into the safe. They cut back to her in the car with her father, and he's like, "Do you love him?" And she's like, "I do, but I don't know if he loves me back."
But what could be better than being in love?
Mr. Bond is in love with you.
That may come too, someday.
Immediately after, we see Bond pick up a Playboy and look at the centerfold.
He only takes the centerfold.
And then he only takes the centerfold and leaves
he takes
as people are walking. Yeah.
That is the Bond I know and love.
And then you're like, this man has a problem.
The car shots where they're, Draco and Tracy are talking. Well, I guess they're both Dracos. There's like a crazy light pointed at their face.
I don't quite remember that, but there's definitely a lot of hard light that doesn't quite. It's not quite motivated, but it, you know, usually
we need to make her look less like a PS3 character.
Right.
I should clarify with the Red Dead Online bit was that her outfit was insane. It was like insane and like.
Are you talking about her writer outfit with the little jacket and little white pants?
Yeah.
I love that outfit. She looks great in that.
She looks great in that. Like I said, I would let her put her dirty socks in my mouth. But can we start?
Though clarified for me, Jake, what is he doing? Like, because he goes to a genealogist and they're talking about the Bond heritage, and then he's pretending to be a genealogist.
Because it's not a code name. This movie is like, look, we're going to show you the whole effing family tree, okay?
Yeah,
Same
and
guy.
this is also the book where Ian Fleming made it canon that Bond was Scottish. And so he's looking at his coat of arms, which say, the world is not enough.
The world is not enough.
But Mikey's a huge fan of that song, too.
It's a great one. Yes, it should be noted that this book was the first one that Fleming wrote after the movies were taking off. So he made Bond Scottish in tribute to Sean Connery, and he intentionally did not use any gadgets. And in the book, apparently there are lines where he's like, gadgets are stupid. I don't care for the gadgets.
Anyway, so he meets up with Sir Hilary Bray, and he finds out through the documents he's told that Blofeld is trying to say that he's an heir to the von Blomschop fortune in the Alps. Blochamp.
The Blochamp?
The Blochamp. French form of Blofeld.
Yes, which means Blofeld in French. Whatever that means.
He's a criminal mastermind.
What a delightful ruse. So he's going undercover as a real guy.
Yes, as a guy, or as the genealogist who is working with Blochamp.
The Blochamp?
The Blochamp.
Or Blofeld, trying to find legitimacy in his claim to the von Blomschamp.
The Blochamp?
The Blochamp.
Fortune.
Yeah, who Blofeld has never met this genealogist, knows what he sounds like, apparently.
Yeah, has heard him on the phone. And Bond is a pitch-perfect impression.
Tactfully adjusted to favor me.
And the disguise is incredible. He looks like Sherlock Holmes.
In real life, of course, the actor who played Hilary Bray, who apparently claims to have been Ian Fleming's, like, one of his first choices to play James Bond, had to dub George Lazenby to sound like him. So George Lazenby spends this whole next chunk of the movie dubbed. Peter Hunt hated his accent. So, yes, as we said earlier, George Lazenby and Teresa's dad are the Bond girls of this movie.
And he sounds like Taika Waititi for the rest of the movie. He kind of sounds like this man.
Malt whiskey and branch water, please.
Yeah, he's a bit of a fop, and he's a bit silly, but yes, I guess we get into it.
I do enjoy when he's explaining genealogy in his fake voice, and all the girls are just like, ooh.
Yeah,
it's I don't know why, it's hilarious.
Random question, kind of on this subject. Is Bond always like a complete know-it-all? Because like he shows up in M's room like, oh, I see a lepidoptery.
Yeah, he knows everything.
Is well in order or something.
Unusually small for Nymphalis polychlorus.
I wasn't aware that your expertise included lepidoptery.
Which is a word that I had to look up. I mean, I understand that it's collecting butterflies and insects, but like I had to look it up to like.
Well, Bond has done this in the past.
Yeah,
he didn't become a brute moron until Daniel Craig, I don't think.
Well, the original intention of Bond from Fleming, from what I understand, was he had to be a gentleman, which was about being smart, wearing nice clothes, knowing how to drink, knowing how to eat, driving nice cars, having sex with many women. And eventually, as time went on, that last one kind of took over the character and he just became having sex with many women. But the idea was he was supposed to be somewhat well-rounded, quotation marks, according to Ian Fleming.
Yeah, he's a learned man.
Also, talking about James Bond's family tree, I don't know if any of our listeners are familiar with Philip Jose's farmer Wold Newton family, but James Bond is officially a cousin of Tarzan through, on his father's side, from General Sir William Clayton, a distant collateral ancestor of Tarzan. And
Troy,
on his mother's side,
are you
from
bringing in
Brigadier
some
Gerard.
bullshit family tree?
Wold Newton.
You can't bring
my
League of
God.
Extraordinary Gentlemen into every episode.
Oh,
Troy.
and his grandfather in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is Campion Bond, who, when they made the movie of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, they were going to have Campion Bond played by Roger Moore, and he was going to meet Alan Quatermain, played by Sean Connery. But then they decided this movie is a nightmare, and they won't do that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about fun facts the listeners at home can learn about online.
All right, so he's undercover, and he gets to his Gloria. That was a restaurant that they was under construction, correct?
Yeah, something like that. It was.
And so riddle me this,
location.
Jake. Yeah, this was the location that they spent like the entire decade of the 60s looking for, basically.
Yeah, well, I think they had like a bunch of ideas of like, okay, we're gonna shoot here, but no, we got to do Thunderball, or okay, finally we're gonna do Honor Majesty Secret Service. Oh no, the Alps, all the snow is gone. There's absolutely no snow. From what I've read, it's like conflicting information about that, but I think.
Well, yeah, what I read online was that it was this suppose I guess it's a restaurant or some kind of whatever. They found it, but I mean that's like, I don't know, the crux of the movie, obviously, right? Is that what I guess we've been kind of talking around a little bit, is that I didn't clock it specifically, but it's got to be a full hour.
It's 50 minutes when the plot proper starts.
Yeah,
and it's also kind of like when you're like, what's going on with this movie? Because so far the movie's been classy, romantic, it's been dramatic, and then we get to the Alps, and it's a great location, but the movie just becomes into like Casino Royale.
Join the Casino Royale fun movement.
And then you get to like hypnotized women. Who are the heiresses of the best chicken farmers in England, other crops.
They should have connected her to Colonel Sanders, and she could have met Felix Leiter.
Apart from OK Connery, of course, this is the best hypnotizing scene of all time.
Oh my God.
When you just hear Telly Savalas through the speakers going, "You like chicken." You don't hate chicken.
Do you remember when you first came here, how you hated chickens? I've taught you to love chickens.
So here's what I think Blofeld's plot here is. So James Bond in kilt, in fluffy shirt, with someone else's voice, pretending to be a gay genealogist.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's gay.
Yeah, for some reason he's gay.
He keeps using that same line with the girls. Are like, I thought you didn't like girls.
You are funny, pretending not to like girls.
Well, I don't usually, but you're not usual. That lipstick was an inspiration. So are you.
But I think you do not like girls, Hilly.
Usually I don't, but you're not usual. Coming here like this was an inspiration. And so are you.
I must have missed him introduce himself as like, oh, I don't care for women.
No,
I must have
it's
missed
like
that.
one of the first things. He's like, "Hi, I'm Hillary. I'm gay."
I'm afraid I've never had much to do with young ladies.
Everyone looks, and then they go back to eating chicken.
Yeah.
And the movie just turns fucking weird from then on. There's no action. There's no. The plot is just downtime in this weird place, and you can tell like, oh, this has just become one of these 60s productions where they just decide to get really high for
He's
a few
infiltrating
days.
an institute for allergy research, and all these women allegedly have some sort of allergy, and Irma Bunt.
That name is awfully close to I'm a was the first. When she got introduced, I was like, whoa, I guess...
See, I'm not the only one who says it.
No, we're gonna get demonetized.
I interrupted you, Troy. You were talking about Irma Bunt.
Yeah, so Irma Bunt, so it's an allergy. So James Bond infiltrates them to get close with these women by pretending to be gay so they will be attracted to him. And then he will have sex with them in all of their rooms. And meta-thematically, the only reason I can see why James Bond has to go through an It's a Small World of one last ride of having sex with all these women is that this movie is about the marriage of James Bond and this sequence can only be described as James Bond's bachelor party. That's what I've always understood it to be. It's one last ride. Doesn't mean I like it. Doesn't mean it adds anything to the movie. But that's maybe why it's there. I don't know.
I mean, I guess you can say that all his friends are there, or just like Blofeld, and
He doesn't even recognize him, Jan. What kind of friend throws a bachelor?
He's having a brilliant Christmas shindig in the
I mean,
Alps.
really, I don't know. If you're getting metaphorical, I guess that sort of makes sense, Troy. But in terms of plot, I'm like, there's like a solid hour of this movie where he's
nothing's
dubbed.
happening.
He's in a relatively few number of rooms romancing these women. The real plot information that we're digesting is
Blofeld's up to something.
We get that Blofeld has a plan that involves hypnotizing these women, and we meet Blofeld, and he's played by Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas!
Loves you, baby.
Kojak himself. Mikey, what do you think of Blofeld in this movie? Because you've seen the other Bond movies where Blofeld has appeared.
First thing I'm wondering is this like a two-parter? Was the earlobe thing written in the book?
Yeah.
And or does Telly Savalas, like, did they need to do something to his ears, or was he hired partly because
No,
he cut his ears to get the audition. He went to Sean Connery's barber. He was so drunk.
His ears do look weird, though. It looks like, I mean, a lot of people just don't have like attached ears or whatever, but it looks like they added something to make it look like it's like cut off. You know what I mean? It looks like to make it look more like there's something missing. I don't know if that's actually. Or
Well,
that's just what it
okay,
looks
so
like.
this is interesting. So I am looking at Telly Savalas' earlobes, and they seem to be about the average height. But yeah, I don't know if they pinned them back.
So is that just like the extreme level of Peter Hunt's devotion to the book, that like we're going to give him a weird thing that is completely different from the weird thing he had in the last movie?
Well, this is where it runs into a weird issue with devotion to the book versus is there a continuity error? So originally, yes, in the book, this is the first time Bond and Blofeld meet each other in the book series. So it's not a big deal. In the movie, they just met each other and you only live twice. So the original plan was to explicitly say that both James Bond and Blofeld got plastic surgery and now they look completely different. But then they're like, too complicated. It's kind of there with Blofeld still.
Actually, in my book, I have James Bond, The Secret World of 007. But they make it a point. There's a whole section on Blofeld and the 3 different versions at the time, because this was made before Christoph Waltz. And each time they say, Blofeld gets plastic surgery. So one time he has a scar, then he gets plastic surgery. He's Telly Savalas, and he's much taller and broader.
Yeah. Then he's Charles Gray.
And then he's Charles Gray.
Good evening, Mr. Bond.
With
Who is
hair.
explicitly plastic surgery. Like, they go out of their way to say that Charles Gray.
And then he makes doubles of himself.
As a kid, I always did interpret it as like, oh, they both got plastic surgery. So I always rolled with it. It wasn't until this time where it was like, well,
My whole argument is that I know a lot of people say it's a continuity error. They don't know each other. But yeah, watching the movie now twice, I do think you could read their scenes as Blofeld is pretending not to know who James Bond is because he got plastic surgery to look
He's toying with him,
Yeah, he's toying with him.
But does Bond? But if Bond knows that he knows what he looks like.
Also, I gotta say, like, why would a bald, creepy man get plastic surgery to be a bald, creepy man?
But he could be a cooler, bald, creepy man.
But then he could also be Charles Gray.
Yeah.
Ironically, I believe Richard Maybaum said he wrote this role in On Her Majesty's Secret Service for Max von Sydow. But of course, Max von Sydow would never get a chance to play Blofeld.
Oh no. Here it comes. It's haunting.
So I gotta say, I don't know how much of a controversial opinion this is, but I fucking love Telly Savalas.
Oh, I love Telly Savalas.
It is the most grounded Blofeld.
I know that so he doesn't fit into what we have thought of Blofeld so far. He kind of looks like an Eastern European like security guard. And he's not, I always imagine Blofeld as someone who just has other people do his dirty work for him while he sits in a chair and strokes his pussy. In this one, he's out and about and he's sledding. He's
hands-on.
He's actually punching James Bond. So it's a different Blofeld. You sort of have to imagine him as a different character.
Yeah.
But he's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Starting with how he holds his cigarette. He holds it like a wizard holds a wand. And I don't know why. That's the coolest fucking shit.
I did notice this.
It's Kojak.
Loves you, baby.
Telly Savalas is always great and stuff. It's so funny with like just that look. Like, you know, he's like this big bald guy, but he's still even actually in this movie he has even more sophistication than James Bond, because, you know, later on him and Tracy are quoting poetry at each other, and there's like you know, chemistry between them.
What were all the world's charms to mighty Paris when he found that first dawn in the arms of his Helen?
Thy dawn, O master of the world, thy dawn. For thee the sunlight creeps across the lawn.
And you're like, oh, good actors. Not that guy.
Yeah.
Get him out.
Sorry, ma'am.
Good actors are here.
He's got one of my favorite lines in this movie, which it might seem like such a passing line, but when
it's when he says, "You love chicken," isn't it?
I've taught you to love chickens.
No, it's when Bond is like, "If you put it like that," and he's like, "I do put it like that."
Well, if you put it like that.
I do put it like that.
Like that, I was just like, "That's so sick, man."
Yeah, no, he's a badass.
He's got a wonderful Christmas den all set up for the holidays.
He just has such a like Donald Pleasance like clearly did not want to be in that set. And Telly just like exudes like this smug, evil guy, you know?
Telly Savalas is the most comfortable Blofeld of all time. I would agree.
Arguably, actually, I kind of think Charles Gray is like the best. You want to go full camp. I kind of lean towards Charles Gray, but Telly Savalas is definitely up there.
They're all different characters, you know?
Basically.
It's more so
James
what
Bond
you
kills a Blofeld. It's like Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. James Bond kills a Blofeld.
Yeah.
And then they're just back.
The only thing we can all agree is that the worst Blofeld is Christopher Waltz from the original
I don't know
series.
if I agree with that, and I will fight anyone to the death. Telly Savalas' best legacy as Blofeld is that he was the inspiration for Superman the Animated Series version of Lex Luthor that would go on to be used in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
I see that.
A lot of the times people think that version of Lex Luthor, oh, they're like bald, he has big lips, and he talks gravelly and like this, and he's very
He has
calculating.
Mr. Krabs' voice.
Yes, and he's voiced by Clancy Brown, and everyone's like, oh, who was he supposed to be? And it's like, he's supposed to be Telly Savalas in Honor Majesty's Secret Service. And that's like the best version of Lex Luthor, one of my favorite villains. So
he has a very Lex Luthor-ish Blofeld.
Oh, yeah.
I think why I like him.
Yeah, I quite enjoy that.
Did anyone notice when Bond meets the girls for the first time, it's the music from Goldfinger?
Oh, the janitor, he's whistling it. Yeah, I read that
No,
afterwards.
the music is playing the.
Oh.
Yeah, I did make a note of that, but I don't really know what to say about it.
Yeah, well, they just want to remind you. It's subliminal. It's like, remember the other Bond movies?
That's beyond subliminal.
Any notes before we ski?
So the first girl, the chicken girl, the one under the bed, she's in Casino Royale 1967.
Okay, we're not allowed to mention that movie for the rest of this project. Before skiing, we need to mention, in my opinion, the best scene in the entire movie, which is when James Bond, he thinks he's gonna bone. He tries to wake up the lady. He's like, Hilly is horny, or whatever he says. And then the lady wakes up, and it's Irma Blood.
Fancy meeting you here, Fräulein.
And then he gets conked on the head, and he goes to slow-mo.
Yeah, and I seriously fucking thought that they were gonna add like birds chirping, like like a Three Stooges.
Yeah, that is the rare Peter Hunt half-speed shot.
Where you're just like, okay, this is that is the one point in the movie where I'm like, Peter Hunt's tricks have gone a little too far.
They've
gone a little too far.
He went too far in a few places.
And then, very next scene, Blofeld is decorating a Christmas tree, and you're like, this is the best movie ever. Like, this is a Christmas special.
Yeah, because it's Christmas right now. Christmas 2020.
We're singing all our
Christmas
favorite
2020.
carols. Oh,
Slash
Much
Hanukkah.
like You Only Live Twice was the vacation
Played by
episode.
Denise Richards. She only comes once
Troy,
a year.
are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time?
Are you, Troy? Are you having a good Christmas?
I love chicken.
Delicious.
Excellent.
Oh no, he went to Blofeld's Alps restaurant.
Oh no, he went to KFC.
Mikey, why don't you explain or try to explain what Blofeld's plan is?
Yeah,
since
what
it's
is
revealed in this scene?
Okay, so what he is trying to do is he's trying to sterilize the world with bacteriological warfare, which isn't really, it's a misnomer because he's making a virus, which is not a bacteria, but we don't need to, that's a minutia alert. But he's trying to do like this biological warfare to not just make humans not be able to reproduce, but like crops would not be able to reproduce. And he's trying to like strong arm the UN of all places into giving him like $100 billion like Dr. Evil.
That's his plan every movie. Money.
Yeah, so am I missing anything? I honestly forget what the allergies have to do.
Well, the girls.
The girls, yeah, that's the crucial part of the plan.
The angels of death.
The angels of death.
Because, like, they're all connected to food production, right? So they're the sleeper agents who will be like, I love chicken, and then they'll pour, like, mustard gas into the frozen chicken dinner.
They have, like, their syringes where they're going to inject their...
They're going to put it into the food supply? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah. The idea is Blofeld is going to use beautiful women to ruin my food.
They're ruining Christmas!
I thought it was a missed opportunity that when Blofeld says that he has a medicine that can make people sterile, that Bond didn't just go like, oh, can I have some of that?
At one point when I was watching this movie again, I was like, wait, are his angels of death gonna go home and like sleep with a bunch of men and it's an STD that like makes everyone sterile?
Yeah, they never quite explain how they're gonna spread this. I think they're just supposed to fuck their way into a pandemic.
Is
I
it
thought,
that?
do they all work at like the Kellogg's factory and
Yeah, they're all like food heiresses, right? Like the one with short red hair is a chicken heiress.
Do they ever explain why they're all women or
coincidence?
Okay, remember in Casino Royale where Smurfs had that army full of women and how we were like, this is basically just a normal James Bond plot? It's that.
Yeah, no, what am I saying? It's obviously just because the crew just wanted to party. Like, let's be
honest.
Oh yeah, it's a fun time in the Alps.
You think Blofeld, like, threw James Bond his bachelor party, but he was, like, the worst best man of all time and then ruined his wedding?
He ruined his wedding. The memes got too far.
Yeah.
He was pranking.
Bro, you don't want to get married, bro. Blofeld, I don't even know you anymore, man. What are you doing?
It's almost like you're a different person, man.
Almost like you're a different person.
Dude, we always spent Christmas
Wait,
together.
are you saying that him killing Tracy was like his wedding prank?
Oh, no.
Possibly.
Top 10 pranks gone way too far.
It's just Irma Bunt with a machine gun.
You were only supposed to shoot his fuel engine. Oh no! Why did we use a submachine gun?
Hello, I'm Blofeld, and welcome to another episode of Prank Invasion. Today we're gonna prank my good friend James.
You're gonna be stuck in a volcano, James. Get your way out of that one, you dumbass.
You dumb bitch. Yeah.
I mean, I would argue the Craig Waltz version is definitely a silly prankster brother relationship.
Today we're gonna convince this woman she's a chicken.
Oh boy.
Hey, Bond thinks he's gonna get with the chicken lady. It's actually Irma Bunt.
Fascinating you people.
Okay, I got the thumbnail. It's like a clickbait like prank video thumbnail, but with Telly Savalas.
Worst prank ever.
Worst prank ever.
But his big prank, his big scheme is there's just a bunch of bottles of chemicals in a room. But we got to get rid of that somehow.
Yeah, but Bond has to escape, and so he escapes from the gondola, as Mikey said, with the help of the matte painting. But it's still very cool.
Wait, also, what the fuck was Blofeld thinking? Just like putting James Bond in this like clock
open area
thing?
where you could just climb down.
It's the Austin Powers bit.
You think you put him in like a trap or
No.
something?
This is the Austin Powers bit.
Yeah.
Just like Scott,
It's like, why
Jen,
don't we just shoot him,
Just
Dad?
shoot him.
Jen, you don't get it.
No, I know. But there's usually a little bit more effort.
Isn't he supposed to be like keeping him alive as like a negotiating tactic so that like...
I mean, maybe, but he put him in a place way too
Where he could
easy to
easily escape.
Well, yeah, but that's the prank. It's like he gets out on skis.
I'm just thinking of like the Viva La Bam theme, but it's Viva La Blofeld. I'm gonna give you what you need.
And that's why Diamonds Are Forever starts with Blofeld just punching James Bond in the nuts and then pointing and laughing at
Diamonds Are Forever is Blofeld at his most prankstery. I think Blofeld is underrated as an all-time pranker.
Yes. So we're skiing down the mountain. Bond steals a ski suit, a nice little blue ski suit, which looks pretty cool.
Very nice.
And
Very nice.
we get some fucking dank ass skiing.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck. And Blofeld's doing it too.
It begins a very long tradition of skiing in James Bond movies.
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
like
It's always
there's a
fun.
lot of ski scenes.
Though I do have to ask, did Telly Savalas refuse to do any outdoor shot? Like any...
He gets very cold. He has no hair on his head.
He has to wear that giant
Giant
hat.
snow cap. Oh, the
Yeah.
snow hats. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. Connery still looks cool today in all his James Bond movies. Lazenby is maybe a bit more a victim of the fashion of the time. His stuff doesn't fit half the time, and his little snow hat.
No,
is
I
like
won't
floofy.
say that he's a victim of fashion of the time, because I read on Wikipedia that even critics of 1969 were saying, like, what the fuck is James Bond wearing in this?
Yeah, it's like, what even went on here?
It was a prank.
Yeah.
Blofeld was in charge of the clothing department,
I'm
bro.
gonna give you what you need.
Hope you like those frilly shirts, George.
He told James Bond to go on the kilt for dinner because everyone was gonna be wearing it, and then he got to dinner and he was like, fuck, he got me again.
I am the writer of all your pranks, James.
Wasn't he supposed to be like an absolute dweeb? And meanwhile, he's wearing an outfit that shows his like incredibly jacked legs.
Yeah, but it doesn't match. He's wearing like a ruffly shirt with a kilt. It's embarrassing. And also he talks with an English accent, so you know.
That's not his voice.
No woman would ever
be
sleep
strong.
with him.
Anyway, we got to talk about the skiing.
The skiing is cool as fuck.
They got a guy named Willie Bogner Jr. to be the cameraman on the skiing. Do you see how fucking fast they're going? And this guy had like a fucking camera strapped on. He has no poles, and he's going over to the side, backwards, freaking going all around, getting all this fucking coverage. Apparently, what was he? He was an alpine skier. He was on the United Team of Germany shortly after turning 18 at the 1960 Winter Olympics.
Okay, 1960. Okay.
Yeah, I as much as I love the skiing and all the subsequent action scenes to come, they're all fucking great. But it does show to me that the movie's kind of a little bit poorly structured, because nothing has been happening for the past hour, and now like we have 3 back-to-back action scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And like they're fun. Oh, you know what's wild? Are we at the point now where Bond, because Bond like messes up with his skis, so he's stealing other skis and using them as weapons. There's one point where Bond hits a guy with a ski and he goes off a cliff, and we watch that guy go all the way down.
With Christmas music playing in the background.
Yeah, and you're like, why? I mean, it's fun.
Just a little bit more irony.
And then they arrive at like a Christmas festival.
Yeah, there's like a Santa's village going on at the base of Blofeld.
And he gets scared by a polar bear.
And he just has to sit down and he's crying a little bit. He's like overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's because he's not only like startled, he's like terrified.
Yeah.
He's just like, ah!
No,
Like-
George Lazenby is acting his ass off in that scene.
Yeah, but like genuinely
Just like-
imagine like Sean Connery or Daniel Craig in that scene, just crying, scared of a polar bear.
Yeah.
It's a very unique take on Bond.
So scary.
But then Diana Rigg skates back into the movie, and as Jan said, a wonderful pan-up shot, and you're like, the movie's back!
And the way she says, James, I'm like,
Yeah.
please sit on me. So that you can cut that out, Paul. I'll give you another one.
No, keep that in.
You are very attractive, Diana Rigg. And I love you very much.
Dame Diana Rigg.
Rest in peace.
So they go to the cabin. We've already talked about it. It looks great.
Oh no, well they get into the car chase.
The car chase is amazing. That is an incredible.
Oh, that's
like,
fun.
It's very modern how it's executed. It's like it has no music. It's all done through sound design. The stunts are great. It's perfect except for the fact that neither Diana Rigg or George Lazenby look scared or thrilled.
I don't know. That makes it cooler for Diana
They look
Rigg.
like they're having fun.
Diana Rigg is bawling.
Well, because Bond is whole.
Yeah.
Bond is whole with her, and he's
whole?
comfortable.
Who has what?
And how
hole?
could you not get excited like time traveling? Because it seems like every cut we're in like daytime, and then it's like actually nighttime,
And the cars
and then it's like
keep
twilight.
showing up at different locations.
What about when they
Track.
when the car flips over and they literally just turned the frame upside down, so the guy's just going like,
oh yeah.
Peter Hunt, you fucking hack.
Oh,
yeah, they just
love
happen to have another Christmas festival happening at a nearby village that has like a demolition derby going on.
Oh yeah, that's great. And Diana Rigg's like, Teresa's like weaving in between. Ah, that's great. I'm like,
we didn't
why
even
aren't
stop
you
for the
James
prize.
The barn scene is great.
Oh, the barn scene's so romantic.
It's so sweet. Yeah.
It's really when you start like kind of so far the movie's kind of been a mixed bag, where you're like, I really love this, and then you're like, this is kind of weird, nothing's happening. But then that barn scene, you're like, okay, this is kind of a special. I'm getting kind of emotional talking about it. It's a special Bond movie.
She really loves that terrible actor who she hated.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a performance.
Sorry, ma'am.
And usually when he punches the upper bunk bed thing and she falls,
knocks her back down.
Usually Sean Connery would make that like a creepy, horrible moment that I hate, but here it really does make me go like, aww.
Well, yeah, it's like James Bond says, I'm not going to sleep with you, New Year's resolution.
The proper time for this is our wedding night. And that's my New Year's resolution.
And then you're like, psych.
It's not New Year yet.
And you're like, aw, he considered it.
It's not New Year's yet.
It's not New Year's yet, exactly.
He only had to wait 5 days till New Year's.
And he's like, nope.
He's like, ah, fuck it. No, but like if you've ever been in the middle of a storm and it's very cold outside and you're cuddling up with someone. Sorry, Jake, I've said too much. We don't need to tell the story.
So Bond proposes.
Yes, he does propose to her. After one demolition derby date.
Well, after a whole montage and saving her life and bailing her out at the casino, she saves him finally. And he's just like, will you fucking marry me? And she's like, fuck yeah. Bond is engaged. A guy gets trapped in a snowplow and gets chopped up into fucking bits. And right afterward.
Yeah. But wait, before we get to the fucking saw trap, I want to hear from Mikey, because you said that James Bond being a pussy that gets married in this one turned you up. How do you feel about it this time?
Well, now is recently married.
Wait, are we talking about the he had a lot of guts thing?
No, well, Bond getting Jan's backtracked a little bit.
Well, yes. I mean, anyone that marries someone has a lot of guts. Am I right?
Boo!
If we're talking about the marriage, yes, like this movie tugged at my heartstrings, definitely. I think it's tastefully done. It works, and I mean and I watched it with my wife, so it was.
What did she think of it?
She thought it was too long.
Yeah, valid. Your wife is correct.
Classic wife behavior. When did you get married?
Well, actually, I don't know if I'm married yet.
Wait, what? This is some Jan bullshit.
I might have to hop into a time machine.
Yeah, sorry, we're retconning. That's wishful thinking.
That's wishful thinking. You hypothetically will be married in July.
Well, congratulations, you fool. I've been married since May, and with all that extra experience, I can tell you that it's a dark, dark, lonely life.
You canonically established Jan as a time traveler because he will get married in May of 2023, and he will almost poop himself.
Well, that's the story for another time.
Can we talk about the guy who gets chopped to bits and he's got a lot of guts, which Mikey pointed out, which might be like the most psychotic one-liner.
Yes. No,
Yeah, he's a psychopath.
It was delivered just like the Austin Powers lines, where like I forget what happens, but when the guy gets like steamrolled, and I think that's when it is.
Yeah.
And he keeps like doing one-liners. It was like that. That was the tone.
I think it's like the most violent thing to ever happen in a Bond movie.
It's
like the blood coming
so
out. It's
far.
like Fargo.
Yeah, he got Fargoed.
Like it's just, like all this viscera ever, and then he's got a lot of guts. I'm like, that was too fucked up right there.
That was.
I don't know if I'd make a
That was straight up mean.
It's a little ballsy, especially mixed in with the daytime ski scene. I think is even better than the nighttime ski scene, and it just gets turned.
Oh, yeah.
And then how do we level up even further? Avalanche.
It is a fucking mix of miniatures and actual goddamn avalanche.
It looks amazing.
It's so cool.
You really don't. I only see someone like Christopher Nolan doing like that in modern time.
Yeah, obviously, when Nolan says that this is his favorite Bond movie, I mean, he's talking about, ski fortress stuff, avalanche, explosion, dead wife, Inception. Yeah.
Am I correct in assuming that a lesser director or whatever would like show mostly just snow, when like in reality the real deadly part of an avalanche is just like all the debris and trees and rocks, and like they really get that?
No, I think you're right, because the realism of it jumped out to me too.
Yeah.
Are we sure the Broccoli's didn't like blow up a mountain?
No, they did do that, but they also had miniatures. They had an actual avalanche and miniatures.
Well, even in The Revenant, they triggered an avalanche like on purpose.
Cubby Broccoli made The Revenant?
It's a technique. It's been known to happen. But you're right. I think a cheaper movie would have, had inserts of just snow flying across the screen or something.
And they also had the combination, because they have like Bond and Diana Rigg. They're skiing down, and the bottom part is actually filmed, and then the top part is the miniature, and it's coming down, and it's seamlessly blending in.
Yeah, there's that one kind of like static, like bird's eye view shot. That's
the one I'm thinking of.
They do have like the little teeny sticker skiers. They're like,
yeah, there are a few of those.
Yeah.
They're not moving too much in some of those shots, but yes.
Well, Telly Savalas is just like, I'm sure he's in like Doug Walker's studio with that green screen, just like chilling
somewhere in Chicago on the side of Telly Savalas.
Yes, they get caught in the avalanche. Bond escapes. Tracy does not. She's captured.
Yes,
and this is when shit gets really fucking serious, because Bond is pissed. He goes back to him and he's like, "Listen, you old fuck, we're going back for her."
They have like the shot of Tracy getting
in the
window.
It's so
and
cool.
It's raining outside, and he's just like, they're really working hard to make George Lazenby a good actor here.
No, I think Lazenby does a good job in that scene, I think. I don't know. I bought it.
Yeah, no, he's not the worst actor to have ever lived, George Lazenby.
No,
Don't tell George
I don't think there's
Lazenby
ever been a really bad James Bond.
Did you see Peter Sellers?
Yeah, well, anyone involved in that.
Not to talk about that one for the rest of this whole series.
That's my Christmas. My Christmas wish is to never talk about
Paul's in front of his giant Peter Sellers Casino Royale.
Oh, God.
Yeah, now it's 2 giant posters. Woodrow Wilson.
Paul, I haven't opened up your present yet, but it looks oddly Peter Sellers shaped.
Mine is Woodrow Wilson shaped.
8 James Bonds for Hanukkah.
8 James Bond at Hanukkah. They all had a lot of money.
I remember the last Christmas present Jake gave me. I was afraid to open it, and it turned out it was the 1942 film Holiday Inn, and I was actually very happy to get it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Jake actually gave me
Clark
something.
Gable movie?
No, Fred Astaire, Bing
Fred
Crosby.
Astaire and Bing Crosby. Yeah.
It was a movie thing, and
yeah, we had a triple feature.
We had to choose our movies via wrapped gifts, and so I made Troy open one of them, and he opened it up, and it was none other than the movie Hunter Killer, starring Gerard Butler and Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah.
And then Troy was like, no! And then he opened it up and it said Holiday.
And then I was like, yay!
So M is telling him we are not saving Tracy.
We're caving into Blofeld's demands, which is to be recognized as a blonde champ and have $1 billion. They're not saving Tracy, and Bond is like, fuck you! And goes to his future father-in-law for help. Yeah, and that's when they get into a bunch of helicopters and they storm fucking Piz Gloria.
And that's when Kevin McClory was rolling in the aisles because James Bond was teaming up with Italians.
Oh my God!
Kevin McClory's like, I didn't write this.
And I gotta say, for my money, the best use of the James Bond theme so far.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, because it's actually for something exciting.
Well, no, and also it's exciting, but it's also they save it for the end, and it's almost kind of like George Lazenby hadn't earned the theme song until now, you know, and now he's going guns blazing.
The coolest fucking shot of the movie is when Bond is. They kind of set it up at the beginning when he's doing what's it called, curling, and he slips and he falls on the ice. And then they storm the Piz Gloria, and he's sliding on the ice, but he has a machine gun, and it looks so fucking cool.
So and the guitar's going bum 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 bum, and it's like
what it does is that scene appeals directly to the male fantasy.
Yeah,
and it hits it in a bullseye.
Yes,
because that is swag.
We all want to slide down ice with a machine
gun. Just going to rescue our fiance.
But I'll disagree with you, Mike. Yeah, I think the scene that epitomizes the male fantasy is when Telly Savalas is hypnotizing women to like chicken. That's what I've always wanted.
The scene that epitomized the male fantasy was when a polar bear freaks me out and I sit down at the ice rink and I cry for my mom. I thought that was the male fantasy.
It is kind of funny though. I mean, he does eventually, arrive triumphantly, but like you see the helicopter fleet showing up. And then a lot of the action sequence plays with Diana Rigg freeing herself, running around, beating up guys, and you literally don't even know where George Lazenby is.
Yeah, that's what makes it dope. Is Diana Rigg becomes the main character in the movie.
Her and Telly Savalas are one-upping each other. Blofeld's like, "Oh, I can make you my countess." And she's like, "I'm already a countess." And then they're quoting poetry, and she's trying to seduce him because she knows
gets
that her
better
dad
by
is
the
on
second. Like every scene she's in, she gets cooler and wittier.
And then she fights that guy.
And why are there's spikes on the wall? Can I just ask that?
They set it up in the beginning that there are spikes on the wall.
It's just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank.
Blofeld sometimes brings the walls in and spikes people for pranks.
I called it Chekhov's wall art.
Yes.
We're gonna put spikes on the wall, but don't tell my henchmen. Let's see if something happens.
The look on their face.
The look on the face when they die.
I do want to point out that, yes, kind of circling back to the theme music, I noticed this time that they were not playing the James Bond theme. They were playing the opening theme mostly. And then, yes, finally at the end, we circled back. An army of mooks against an army of Spectre people. James Bond riding to the rescue. We are back in classic James Bond land.
Freaking someone throws like acid at James Bond and it burns a hole in the glass and he just is like, and he shoots the guy and he looks over at the hole and he's like, ooh, that's weird.
Oh yeah, and
That's
that guy
cool.
does the funniest scream ever. It sounds like bleh. Bleh. And I was like, what if that was the new Wilhelm scream?
We can make it the new Wilhelm scream.
Once again, the Bond girl does way more to save the day than Bond himself.
And with Diana Rigg, it's even more dramatic because she did the car chase. You know, I noted in the beginning when they first kind of hit it off, even before their little montage, she brings him in to kiss her.
Yeah. She's the man. He's the dubbed.
This is her movie.
She cracks a fucking glass bottle and starts threatening it. Like she doesn't take shit from anyone. She's so cool.
But unfortunately,
she is so OP that her dad
has to punch her in the face
and
to
knock
make a
her out.
one-liner to get her out of the scene. Wait, what does her dad say? Like he says, like a father has to discipline his daughter.
No, spare the rod or spoil the child.
I will not go without. You'll have to. Spare the rod and spoil the child, huh?
Yeah, he says some stupid shit like that. But it is kind of like, really? That's what knocks her out? She's more OP than fucking Ray? That's how she's gonna go?
No, I mean, that's the weird thing about the Teresa character, is she is objectively more valuable, more interesting, and just all around better than James Bond. But somehow she is still an Ian Fleming baby woman where the men like control her and make choices for her. And it's a weird...
I wish she was the main character. But during the wedding scene, which we'll get to soonish, she does, the dad does go like, always obey your man. That's what I command you, whatever. And she goes like, sure, I'll obey him the same way I obeyed you. So she is fighting back against the Ian Fleming baby girl thing.
She's trying her best.
So Bond is chasing Blofeld. Blofeld escapes. They blow up Piz Gloria.
What's it called? Piz Gloria?
Yeah, it's called Piz Gloria.
Piz Gloria.
Okay, so they piss on Gloria, and then what happens?
At least it wasn't Pez Gloria.
All right.
I don't know.
Abort the bit.
Abort the bit. Okay.
I think we need to stretch this out a little more, guys.
I made a mistake. Anyway, so there's a bobsled run, which is fucking cool. What about that shot where like Blofeld drops the grenade and he's like, oh shit. He's about to blow himself up.
It's funny and cool at the same time.
It is funny and cool, but then afterwards, he throws the grenade at Bond's bobsled, and you have that fucking crazy stunt where the thing explodes and the guy just goes flying across the snow, tumbling.
Why did Piz Gloria have a bobsled track right next to it?
Because Blofeld was going to make it an all-inclusive allergy institute, Jan. That was the cover. It had to have themed entertainment.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's
a prank.
It's so cool that it doesn't come out as jarring that this is the climax for a relatively very serious Bond movie.
Blofeld's cat is great in this, by the way. We didn't really talk about it, but
He's used sparingly, I think, because they realized that working with a cat and a moving Blofeld is a fucking nightmare from You Only Live Twice.
Also, can I point out that the way Blofeld is disposed of, quotation marks, he gets like caught in a tree and it screws up his neck.
It turns into the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But what's weird about it to me is that later in GoldenEye, the same thing happens to Xenia Onatopp. And I'm still confused what exactly happened.
He broke his neck going like 80 miles an hour down a bobsled ring and then getting stopped by a fucking tree.
More like 18.
Yeah, it's not that
18
fast.
miles an hour.
It's still pretty bad.
I mean, it looks painful, but it did always bother me, and still bothers me to this day, that he didn't just go back and kill Blofeld. A fucking Saint Bernard shows up, and James Bond just chills with it, and you're like, kill the terrorist! Like, I know the dog is cute, but kill the fucking bad guy.
No, but he wants the booze on the dog's neck.
I haven't had a drink in ages.
He hasn't drinking in like an hour.
He's the worst.
I've been
fucking
too busy
spy.
playing an effeminate genealogist.
Bond gets the ring, and now he's married, and everyone's there. Q, M,
Q's in the
Moneypenny.
movie.
Yay.
Q is there, and Q is nice to Bond, going like, "You're always an asshole, but I guess you're cool."
Congratulations, 007. I must confess that I've sometimes thought you a little,
Irresponsible?
Exactly, that's exactly the word. Thank you.
It feels so nice to see them like outside of work, just hanging out with each other.
Connery would never do this. Connery hated these people. He was attracted to Moneypenny, but otherwise he hated these people.
No, he had a respect for M.
No, he did not. He joked around. He kept threatening to out M's sexual escapades in Tokyo.
That's true.
Oh, once when I was with Am in Tokyo, we had an interesting experience.
Thank you, Miss Moneypenny. That's all. That's all.
I will expose the world to your woman legs, M.
George Lazenby is accepting of his woman legs. He's like, you can come outside.
I got you these high heels and these fishnets.
Yeah. It's interesting because every member of the squad gets their own little moment. Q's like, just remember my advice, 007. And then Bond's like, I have all the gadgets for this job, Q.
I know that we haven't always exactly seen... Well, anyway, don't forget, if there's anything you ever need...
Thank you, Q, but this time I've got the gadgets. I know how to use them.
And I'm like, And then M is like talking to Mr. Draco, and he's like, remember that gold job in 1964? Huh?
Anyway, it is a pleasure to meet the man who cost me 3 of my best operatives.
Yes, November 64, the bullion job. You got away with quite a chunk of the whole. Tell me.
Confirming that M is like involved with organized crime.
Oh yeah, no, M is just part of organized crime, and they kill each other for sport.
Speaking of Moneypenny, they
Yeah.
say that not even the toughest of men have resisted shedding a tear when James Bond throws that hat at her.
Oh yeah,
that's a
very nice
great moment.
It is incredible. I know that it would have probably
That is
been...
the death of the bit.
Yes, it's the death of the bit. I know that it probably would have been better if it was Sean Connery, because they have the whole
If
thing.
it was Sean Connery, it would have hit her in the face.
He would have
killed her.
decapitated her like Odd Job. No, but it really works because this does really feel like him riding into the sunset. Like there's a sense of closure to it.
Yes, like the end of the franchise.
Which is why what happens next is all the more tragic.
Yes, much like the book, this movie ends with Blofeld in a neck brace and Irma Bunt driving by while Bond and Tracy are stopped on the side of the road, firing at them. And Bond's going to go after Blofeld, but he finds that Tracy has been shot. And they were going to do this at the beginning of Diamonds Are Forever, but then Lazenby was like, I'm quitting. And they're like, just do it now. And what it does, I mean, we talk about Bond movies being a symbol of their times. It is interesting. In 1967, Bonnie and Clyde came out. So part of me does kind of wonder, is this an attempt subliminally to like...
Yeah, isn't
to
and then
be a downbeat
69
ending.
this year is Easy Rider, isn't it?
Yes, this was the year of the blackout shoot kill.
I think it works really beautifully. But before we get to the actual shootout, I just want to mention how well planned the whole sequence is, because and I'll use Melissa as an example for this, because she hadn't seen this.
What does that mean?
Well,
oh no!
I should rephrase. My wife had never seen this movie. She had never seen that ending, and you have that ending when Bond is married, and you feel really good. You're like, "Aw, this is such a nice ending for James Bond." And then the movie keeps going, and it keeps going, and that's when Melissa started saying like, "Uh-oh," like. Just because it hasn't ended when you knew that it should, you know that something's coming, and then it has those teenagers driving by, and then they pull over, and the second the car stops, you're like, oh no, don't stop. It's like, that is a scene that to me it's expertly edited in like suspense, and you know something bad is coming.
No.
And you just want the movie to stop. You just want it to end right there, you know? I love Diana Rigg.
Oh, yeah, no, she's great. She's being wonderful in the car. Lazenby, Lazenby was told, lying over her body, he did a take where he cried, and Hunt was like, no, don't cry. Be very stoic. And, he sells it. Again, I don't know if Connery could have done it as well. Yeah. But Lazenby really brings it up. And Blofeld and Irma Bunt drive away, and Bond's left over her body, and the police officer comes, and he's like, is it okay? And he's like, well, she's at rest now. She's resting. We have all the time in the world.
There's no hurry, you see. We have all the time in the world.
And you're like,
And the last shot of the movie is the bullet hole with the empty seat.
Brutal.
Then they gotta play the damn theme.
Oh, yeah, no, and then it's very jarring. They're like, James Bond's back and Diamonds Are Forever.
I kind of like that, honestly.
Well, yeah, it is kind of...
It kind of is sad. We're just like, well, that was very sad, but James Bond is back, because this is what you want, you motherfuckers.
Well, that's why the scene is so powerful, I think, is because the whole point of James Bond up until this scene was light, carefree, escapist, like no real emotions. And then this awful thing happens at the very end of the movie as a postscript to the adventure. And you're just sitting with it and you're just like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then the music comes in as a reminder that, yeah, this is it. It keeps continuing. There's no escaping the hell.
You expect James Bond to have a final, like, I will have revenge, Blofeld, or end in that somewhat triumphant note, because all the other Bond movies have ended with him boning, but it just ends like that, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And that, to me, makes this by far the best ending, the best final scene to any Bond movie ever. With the exception to Die Another Day.
I do think I have to be honest and say yes, because this is the one Bond scene where emotions matter. And what were you going to say, Paul?
Well, I guess, yeah, I think it's, in a very kind of late 60s way, it kind of, zags, in a way that wasn't really permissible, in a blockbuster movie up to that point. And almost, for some reason, my mind went to Pickle Rick, of all things, in the sense of, like...
Pickle Rick?
That's something where it's like, I don't know, I feel like conceptually, like,
I know what you're saying.
You've taken the idea as far as you can go. Like thematically, like, this is kind of the end.
Yeah, right? And you take a silly character and you basically, like, really analyze him for what he really is. This brings forward the tragedy of James Bond. It's like...
Right. You're bringing out, like, the tragedy of this character and the fact that they're never going to change. And, like, and basically it doesn't really matter what you see after that, because you kind of know the statement's been made.
It's a defining thing of the characters that he absolutely cannot change. He can change the actors, but he has to keep wooing women, shooting people, and he has to do that for infinity, because without any of those things, he is not James Bond, and the series is over.
And that's what the movie is about. And it reminds me of the episode Bart Gets an F from The Simpsons, because that's an episode where Bart is like, I really tried this time to be good and to get an A, and I still failed. And that's James Bond's movie. He's like, I really tried to fall in love and have a normal, simple life, and I just can't get away from it.
Because that's the thing. This movie kind of functions. I mean, obviously, the books, they start with Casino Royale, so they start with this. But yeah, this in the popular imagination is what grounds the James Bond character, in that he lost the woman he loved. And yes, he could be human, but he can't be human, because to be human is to not be able to live the life he has to live. And I think it's telling that, again, the movies up until the Casino Royale reboot didn't really have continuity, but they kept coming back to Tracy. Roger Moore talks about Tracy. Timothy Dalton talks about Tracy. Pierce Brosnan talks about Tracy. Teresa, I don't know why her name alternates, but...
because that's her nickname. Tracy's her nickname.
And also, I gotta say, the fact that in the next movie, in Diamonds Are Forever, Sean Connery's just back, just cracking jokes and being all silly and drunk. A lot of people see them as like it ignoring this movie. To me, it adds a layer of tragedy to Diamonds Are Forever.
Because George Lazenby is like the new man that Bond is becoming.
Yeah.
And then he reverts back
He
to
reverts,
Sean
yeah,
Connery.
He falls back into his old ways.
And he's even worse and bloated.
He's in complete denial.
I was going to say real quick, if you did stick with the codename theory, I've read a theory that suggests that Lazenby, Moore, Dalton, and Brosnan are all the same guy, but Connery is a different guy. And he had to take revenge after the other guy, the other fella, took a break after Tracy's death. He took revenge for him. And that's why Never Say Never Again exists, because there are two James Bond.
Yeah, but then why would George Lazenby have Sean Connery's shit in his desk?
Because Sean Connery doesn't clean his desk, Jake. He just
because
leaves.
it's standard issue equipment, Jake.
These are specific souvenirs from his adventures. I was gonna say, Mikey, what do you think of the ending?
I think the ending's great. I just it's kind of the music is jarring at the end, but that's like really the only. It's just a minor nitpick.
What's weird is when you watch it.
Otherwise,
when you watch it, you think it's going to play all the time in the world. Every time I watch it, I always think that's what's going to come on, and it doesn't. And I'm like, oh, it's the James Bond theme.
They should start playing the theme for OK Connery at the end of this.
Okay, Connery. And you just see Sean Connery being like wheeled out. Like they put the wig
No,
back on him,
they revealed that the guy that was trying to kill George Lazenby was Sean Connery, not Blofeld.
Helga, Irma Bunt was Sean Connery the entire time. Oh, that should be noted, is that Irma Bunt is technically the trigger woman who shoots Teresa. But because the actress who played Irma Bunt died a few weeks after the movie's release, I believe, the character never comes back. So technically, Bond never got revenge, except in a comic book that was published decades later.
That was written by Jake and Mikey.
Yes.
Whoa.
Leads into Ben Mirenshire.
What?
Ben Mirenshire, the reincarnation of James Bond.
Oh my god, a callback.
This was Mikey's creation. Let's get our final thoughts on this. We have no toupee in this movie. We don't even have John Huston's toupee.
We can rank the earlobes.
Okay, we can rank the earlobes. All right, Mikey, can you rank the earlobes? And also, how would you rank this movie?
Well, the earlobes, I mean, obviously, the Blofeld is top tier. And everyone else is just, I didn't really notice. So that's my earlobe ranking. But yeah, I think overall, this is a great Bond movie. My personal problem with Bond movies sometimes is it stems from when things get like too outlandish or comical. I think this one strikes a nice balance with some serious stuff in there. It's a special one because like the kind of one and done Bond with the marriage, it feels like it kind of makes sense for like this to be the only movie for this particular actor because it is like kind of a full arc. Not my favorite of the Bond movies, but it's certainly up there. And I give this one a 4 out of 5 with a heart.
Oh.
Letterboxd.
Oh. Sweet, just like the movie.
All right, Janny boy.
Earlobes, 10 out of 10, obviously. Telly Savalas is king. I can't decide who has nicer non-earlobes, him or Diana Rigg. She's fucking perfect. I love her. The movie itself. This is one of those movies that is very inconsistent. I think has a lot of problems, has a lot of choppy editing. I think he has a lot of structure problems. I think one chunk of it is really great, one chunk of it is so-so, but it's one of those movies that even though it's not perfect or consistent, it has such a warm soul to it that I kind of fall for it every time I watch it. I love the love story. I love Diana Rigg, as I've said. I love Telly Savalas. I love the setting. And yeah, it's just an oddly very beautiful movie in every way, visually, emotionally, especially for James Bond. And it's kind of special in this series for that way. So for that reason, I will also give it an 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5, with a little heart. I love Telly Savalas. He's great.
Troy.
All right. Earlobe rankings. Rigg, Lazenby, Lee, Maxwell, the guy who played Hillary Brady, Chicken Lady, Irma Bunt, Draco, Blofeld, because he doesn't have any earlobes. I don't know if you guys understood the assignment. This movie is so weird to me. It is an odd film. It is very messy. It's a first-time director. It's a first-time actor coming together on arguably the one time Ian Fleming put heart that did not have a pitch black core into his James Bond stories. And the actual movie, much like Goldfinger, it has the through line, and that through line is Teresa, played by Diana Rigg. And she really ties the movie together. Now, the movie turns into a Benny Hill movie in the middle of it, and that drags it down. But in that early part and in that last part, the James Bond franchise has heart. It has romance. James Bond becomes a person who suffers tragedy and has relationships with other people. And that's what movies are about. They're about people having relationships with other people. It's just a shame. It's very haphazard. But honestly, not since Goldfinger has a James Bond movie come so close to feeling like a real movie. So I will also give this a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10. It's the second best movie in the series so far. It is the first improvement on From Russia with Love. More will come to follow.
I would say go 5 out of 5 on those earlobes. Those are wonderful, wonderful earlobes, or lack thereof. This one, I have the feeling, I kind of have a fondness for this movie because Peter Hunt going from being an editor to a director, and he's really trying to pull every trick out of his hat and go like, let's do zooms and quick cuts. And all of it kind of goes together, and there seems to be like a control for me. There's this earnestness to how it's done, and I like that. I am not one of those people that ranks this as my top Bond movies. It's certainly in my top 10, but like the thing that kind of takes me out of it is I think George Lazenby is a little too wooden. It's nice to make fun of him saying that he is like the Bond girl in his own movie, and that's fine, but you're kind of also missing like what if like Sean Connery actually giving a shit was in this movie, and that would kind of make things even better. But having said that, he's pretty good. The action is pretty awesome. It looks great. There's a reason why people always like this one, and I can't blame them if they say it's their favorite. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 as well with the heart. Good job. Also, yeah. Diana Rigg is fantastic. And
we miss you, Diana Rigg.
Will we have unanimous consensus, or will Paul fuck everything up again?
Paul's going to fuck everything up. Okay, Paul.
Worst movie ever. No.
You hate women and romance and bald people.
This one I had seen once before, and at the time I liked it a lot. It was near the top. I think this time it just got a little more clear. I mean, we've pretty much all said it, that they definitely gave Mr. Lazenby the runway. They gave him all the support you can possibly give an actor, to show him off, but it's still not. He's not very good. He's fine. He doesn't ruin the movie because everything else is so polished, but yeah, he's not great. Diana Rigg, however, is the heart of the movie. I'm watching the movie and I'm like, it's like a beam of light breaking through for the whole series. It's like,
she really is. She's the soul of the fucking thing. It would not work without her.
No, it would not work without her. It's obviously the early Connerys. He's awake and that's good. But I'm like, might be the best performance in this series. Every second that she's on screen, she is alive. She's thinking. She does the action. She does the romance. She plays against a brick of wood. She makes the whole thing happen. And there is an hour of the movie that she's not in.
Yeah.
That, as we've said, yes.
This is the longest Bond movie so far, and half of it is a skip. It's not because it's especially offensive by Bond standards. It's not
By Bond standards, it's pretty woke to love chicken.
After OK Connery, this is like a fucking Tennessee Williams play.
Well, look, everybody here liked OK Connery, so no besmirchment.
Yes, because
there.
we have been stuck in 1967 for so long that we forgot what a real movie looked like.
Yeah, now we're in the wilderness of 1969. But yeah, I mean, opening is quite solid. I mean, pretty much the whole last 30 minutes is like wall-to-wall bangers. We discussed the ending, but yeah, again, it's kind of a feast and famine movie, and it gets you there at the end. Satisfying endings go a long way.
It's like having really bad sex. Like at parts it's great, at parts it feels like you just want to die and you want to get out of there, but in the end it gets you where you have to be.
Jan, are you okay?
Like, help me, Troy.
It's kind of a downer ending because we're very sappy about this movie, but it is the holiday season. It is Christmas. Mikey, are you having a good Christmas?
The Yuletide is here. The cheer is in the air. The sun is not shining. It's snowing. But that's okay.
Why are you saying this like an Edgar Allan Poe rendition?
I don't know. I'm just trying to bring some gravitas.
It sounded ominous
to my thoughts on.
You know what'll bring gravitas? Another Bond Christmas carol, dashing through the Alps on a Spectre Bobcat team.
Wait a second.
Why did Blofeld build a whole town under here?
Troy, do you hear that? up on the roof.
Oh my God,
Mikey, do you hear that? Oh my God, it's footsteps. Oh my God, it's Santa Claus.
I don't hear shit. I'm Jewish.
Oh my God. Oh, look who's down the chimney. Oh my God, it's Santa Claus. Oh no, that was Kevin McClory.
Oh my God,
he slapped us with a lawsuit and slapped my balls.
Kevin, no.
We're all washed up.
It's a Christmas miracle. Mikey, would you like to plug anything? Like your channel?
My YouTube channel, Doggify, it's always on hiatus, but I'm alive and I do post every now and again when I have a video idea that I think is worthwhile. Right now, I do not have any ideas.
That's why we're doing this podcast. None of us have any ideas right now.
We're out of ideas.
We're out of ideas. Anyway, that has been You'll Only Listen Twice. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays. Good night, everybody. Da, 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 da,
away in a stable, Mac Doran racing horses. They have computer chips inside those horses. Why does he do this? It does.
Troy, let this episode end. For the love of God.
Jesus Christ, I want to go home to my family.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.